Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea. You know that, I know that, and Elizabeth Teckenbrock definitely knows that.
I'm gonna show my IRS paperwork.
Now, if you have not been caught up with the Elizabeth podcast, please do. We're on episode 5, and it has been truly a whirlwind. It surely has. It's been insane. If you can hear my bulldog snoring in the background, I don't think you can, but if you can, that's none of your business or mine. He's being the sweetest boy right now, so he's allowed to be in my office right now. I don't think you'll be able to hear him, but if you're lucky and you subscribe and you say nice things to me, then I will include a Wiggum cam. That's my English bulldog's name. I will include a Wiggum cam in the next video that I post or that I film. Anyways, let's get into it. So Elizabeth Teckenbrock is a serial con artist, in my opinion, but also like the evidence is there. But just for legal purposes, let's say, in my opinion. Now, Elizabeth Teckenbrock is from Indiana, but in the Tampa, Clearwater area in Florida. And unfortunately for her, I am also in the Tampa area. We need to interrupt this video. Not we, I do. It's just me. You're just watching. But I have a special announcement that you probably already know. I am a hot mom. I am. It's what I've always wanted to be. I'm a hot mom. Look at me. I look great. This video is sponsored by Halara. That's where this outfit's from. Look at how cute this is. It's literally all I've been wearing for the past week. Not the specific outfit, but all the clothes I got from them. Look how cute. Hey, guess what? Do you need to put your phone somewhere? It's right here. Do you need another pocket? Hey, it's right here. Do I feel secure? Yes. Is this fabric quality and durable and I'm not gonna sweat through it? Yes. You know when you wear like workout clothes that are too thin and then there's just like sweat stains all over, and then you have like sweat crotch? None of that, babe, don't worry. Breathable, airy. Hey girl, what's going on? I don't know, just wearing a cute Halara outfit. At Halara, they strive to figure out what works best for the Halara woman. So they're reimagining athleisure with crowdsourced and crowd-tested designs. On every second Sunday, they invite you to join the Halara Circle event. And that is the heart of their design process where you can get a first look and feel of all of their latest designs for free. It's not about just trying new products, it's about shaping them. So the future and heart of Halara is at your hands. Share your feedback with them and let them know what is next for you and your wardrobe. Think about it. How many times have you purchased something and you get it, or you go in store, who does that anymore? But you get it and you're like, oh my God, this would be perfect if this little part wasn't here, or if this was a little bit tighter, or if this fabric was thicker, or why does anything come without pockets anymore? My 2-year-old son's outfits, all of them have pockets, and half of my workout clothes don't have pockets. You bet your butt though that all of my stuff from Halara does, and I love that. That is key for me. So whether I'm outside playing with my son, or actually working out, or running errands, or just filming a video, or being a potato on the couch, which I rarely ever get to do, these Halara pieces are perfect for that. The fabric of their items is carefully selected to ensure inside and out softness, stretchability, and a comfortable yet breathable feel, while also remaining durable. So you won't have to worry about them being see-through. They're versatile, can be styled for every different occasion: work, travel, lounge, running errands, etc. There are so many different color options and a wide range when it comes to sizing, from extra small to 4X. So leave a comment down below which item you like the best that I got. I feel like a lot of you are gonna like this outfit combo. This skirt, absolutely my favorite. I know some of you are probably actually gonna like the ones that, like, you know, make your butt look a little bit lifted. I know my husband really liked those. I'll have all the items that I got listed in the description box and linked. And make sure that you use my 15% off coupon Suarez15 at checkout so you can get 15% off through the link in my description box. Thank you again, Halara, for sending all of these items. They are awesome. I'm obsessed. I actually just put in another order. And thank you for sponsoring this video, and thank you to you guys for supporting my channel and my sponsors. Without my sponsors and without you guys supporting them, I would not be able to make this content and have this be my full-time job. So thank you so much. Now back to the video. Now, the Elizabeth podcast is co-produced and co-hosted by myself and my co-host and co-producer of my other podcast, the Here for the Clout podcast, Sherilyn Dale. I actually am putting my voice actor talents to work and am playing Elizabeth in it. And then my husband's playing her ex-husband, and it's hilarious. But Elizabeth recently tried to respond, not tried to, she did respond quite poorly, but tried to respond to a TikTok that I did because I was honestly just fed up with her. Now, this woman has scammed, conned, lied to multiple different entire communities of people for the last few years, lied about having cancer multiple times, and then said like, oh, it was over exaggerated. You taped a fake port to yourself and went to your friend's house with a cold cap on because you said you had chemo that morning. It wasn't over exaggerated, girl. Like she acts like it was exaggerated by other people and not exaggerated by her. But then she'll say, oh, I took accountability for that. Or I've taken accountability. I've done this. And it's like, girl, no, you haven't. No. Taking accountability and actually showing change. Obviously, that's, step one, step two. But what you got to do is admit line by line to every single thing that you've done and then make it right. Apologize to those people that you did hurt. And since you're an influencer, the internet in general. And then actually say how you're going to do better, do XYZ, and then you can move forward with your new self or whatever, and obviously actually go to therapy. But instead, what Elizabeth Teckenbrock has done is just say, I've done better, or I'm taking accountability, or I've done this, or like, I'm trying to do right. And it's like, no, how? List off how. How are you trying to do right? So let's go ahead and watch this TikTok, this stitch that I did. For some reason, at this point, by the time I made this, she hadn't blocked me. This is what got me blocked. I don't blame her. If I was her, I would have had me blocked. I'm not a big fan of TikTok, but if you want to go follow me over there, my username across all social media is I am CCSUAREZ. So feel free to go follow me over there. So this TikTok of hers, which I don't know if it's still up, maybe she likes to post and delete things, but it says here, you know what's sad? There's so much growth I've made in the last couple months. Is there? Like there literally cannot be if you have not admitted to everything you've done. Come on. And you're about to hear me say the same thing in a second, and made wrongs right. And I can't share anything good here anymore because there is a group of people who will stop at nothing to take it from you or hold you accountable. And then of course I come in real hot. So let's watch that. Me and all my glory.
Hey, you know what's crazy is when people get on this clock app and are like, or any social media and are like, I've changed so much. I've righted my wrongs and people just don't want me to be doing good. Did you right your wrongs? Have you though? Have you paid back the allegedly over $1 million that you took from not one, but apparently two older men? One of them just hasn't reported it for some reason. Another one did report it. Have you paid that back? Did you pay back all the people that you accepted donations and like ticket purchases from for the fake domestic violence charity event that you were selling tickets to and accepting donations for? That it actually wasn't even a charity. It wasn't even registered through the IRS, but you were acting like it was. The venue didn't even know that this was planned. You didn't even like have anything booked or anything reserved. Have you paid back those people? Don't come on here and act like you're righting wrongs and I'm a changed person. Look at this bag of medication I have. No, girl, that's not how this works. Do I want everyone to do good? Yes. Do I want the best for everyone? Yes. But I also think that accountability is important. The audacity that this woman has to have her pinned video on her page say that she is taking accountability and that if accountability feels like an attack, like you need to look within. Girl, please, for the love of God, go look in a mirror. Please go look in a mirror. Also, if you're going to turn to OnlyFans, honestly, love that for you. Get it, get your bag, but do it ethically and don't just regurgitate pictures and videos from your Snapchat. Like, give people what they're paying for, Like, get it together. Also, like, really old pictures, don't do that, girl. I mean, you can do whatever you want on there, whatever, but I don't know, man. Seems weird to me.
Okay, so obviously I said a lot in that stitch, right? Someone take my phone. Actually, don't, because someone's got to hold this person accountable, right? And I guess it's gonna be me. Ironic, not ironic, I guess iconic that I'm actually wearing a Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office shirt in that video. Love that for me. Anyways, so in that stitch, I covered a lot of things, right? I said the two older men that we know of that she took a lot of money from. Right? Okay. So we have those two men. She doesn't acknowledge that in her response, which we're going to watch in a minute, but she doesn't acknowledge that. She doesn't acknowledge the OnlyFans thing that I discussed. Right. And then she only goes for the charity fraud one. Like, that's interesting. That's very interesting. No matter which way she tries to swing this, it is charity fraud. 100% factually, that's a charity fraud. And dear God, if this is the only thing the IRS can get her for, so be it. So she posted this one and then deleted it.
I have typically done a really good job at not addressing things recently, and I am happier to not do so. But The obsession is getting sickly, honestly. Like, there has been to the point that people are contacting people in my life, their family members.
Hold on. One thing I just noticed, is she wearing a Michelle watch? That's like an over $1,000 watch. It might be if it's real, might not be real, but like interesting. Also, whatever happened to all of the 13,000 or 19,000, however much she spent at a bunch of designer stores at Louis Vuitton? What happened to all of that? Like, did she sell that? She could sell all of that and like any other designer stuff and like start to pay people back. That's not what scammers do. I know. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to come up with solutions for it because, girl, if you need help coming up with solutions, I got you. But I don't think you want to do that because then you'd actually have to admit to the things that you've done. And then you'll never have custody of any of your children ever again. And then you'd go to prison. So, like, it makes sense why she's not admitting to it and just saying that she, did these things. I'm healthier and happier to just not actually admit to the crimes that I've committed. Obviously, like, what? Just pretend that you didn't commit fraud and you'll be happier. Okay.
Finding their phone numbers like through the internet, it's like really weird. But the one thing that I am going to address right now, because like this narrative, like there is so much that I've done wrong and I've said that over and over again. Like, I can't express how wrong I have been in my life. Like, I am deeply sorry. Like, I am so sorry, and I work every day to do better.
Sorry for what? There are so many things that you've done wrong in your life. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, girl, we need line items. And she can say all day long, well, oh, I've talked about it on live streams. Irrelevant. That doesn't matter. Your apology, you addressing things needs to be as loud as your biggest platform. It needs to be on the platform that you scammed people through, which arguably that would be TikTok. It needs to be front and center, pinned. That needs to be pinned up there, going through every little thing. And then you can have your redemption. But that doesn't fit the narrative, in my opinion, and in the opinion of logical people. There aren't many of those out there, apparently. Not in her following, obviously. But then she can't use that to then play the victim and have it be part of this narrative where it's like, oh, I have taken accountability. I have apologized. I am righting my wrongs. I'm trying to do better because everyone loves a redemption arc, right? Like, I want to root for you to do better. That's amazing. Yes. And then it's easier for her to play the victim and be like, oh, well, it's this person. Like, my ex-husband is the one who is, coordinating all of this. No, girl, no, definitely not. No offense to your ex-husband, but I don't think he's smart enough to coordinate all of this, right? Plus, he's taking care of y'all's 2 young daughters and has a full-time job, unlike you. So I don't think he's got the time to do that.
Okay, I'm never going to be like a perfect person, and I don't know that like anyone like is. No one probably has done terrible things like me. I don't know what else to say.
I don't know what else to say, honestly. You could literally admit to everything that you've done. Not in a live stream, in an actual stagnant post that is pinned on your account. Admit to everything. Apologize for everything. Again, but you can't do that because you'll go to prison because you did do those things. Not can't do that. Should do it. Won't do it.
Honestly, I really don't know. But other than I'm sorry and I'm trying. Okay, I can't make every single thing I've done wrong right overnight. Like, it's going to take me a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of energy. Okay, but I am going to show where I, in fact, did file my nonprofit through the IRS. I registered it as a business, and then I also filed the nonprofit paperwork, which takes a lot of time. I have been in coordination for the event, for the event person to do, like, hold the event space. Because my video went viral and the other person, the party involved's video went viral as well, and kind of like started tearing me down. That place actually canceled working with me.
The thing is that if you paid for it, they don't care. They literally don't care. However, if you are running a scam, then okay, they wouldn't want to be associated with it. But again, she's pushing it back to that other person's video went viral, her ex-husband. So therefore, it's all his fault. No, it's not, girl. Just because I deal with this shit all the time of not scamming people, but calling people out and then they blame any consequences they face on me or other people who call them out when it's like, I just talked about it. You did the thing.
And so anyway, I'm going to show my IRS paperwork, which at the time I had screenshotted right from the website. So let me show you. Okay.
Super zoomed out and blurry, but thank goodness we have some screenshots here. So not a letter confirming nonprofit status. what we have here is the letter that you get from the IRS when you apply for your EIN, when you create a business entity. EIN stands for Employer Identification Number. You know what's hilarious is that I am quite literally Elizabeth Chicken Broth's, Elizabeth Fraggle Rock's worst nightmare, because not only am I someone who is petty, will not shut the F up, pulls receipts, has a large platform, is not scared of her. I could literally go on and on, but I have been in sales for a long ass time. My entire 20s before I started doing YouTube full time, I was in sales. I've sold everything from minimally invasive spinal surgery, erectile dysfunction medication, to urologist's office and handled those contracts. That was fun. Med spa services. Love it. Houses, wedding dresses. And one of my favorites that I think has really helped me a lot was when I sold accounting services to small business owners. And the company that I worked for was partnered with LegalZoom. So I know a lot. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a tax professional. However, I know a lot about the processes of creating an LLC, the tax forms that you need to fill out afterwards or before, all those form names and all that. And guess what? I am a small business owner. I do have a business entity created and registered to me. Stay Spicy LLC. It's a good reminder. I actually have to fill out and pay for my annual report because this big old bitch always forgets. And so then I'm always fined like $500 because I do be forgetting. Anyways, but if you don't fill out that paperwork and be like, yes, IRS, I am still in business, then your business becomes inactive. And that is an involuntary dissolution of your business. Do you want me to keep going? Do y'all want me to talk about how when you file an LLC, you have to choose your entity classification election to decide how you want your LLC, your business entity, to be taxed? You can either be a sole proprietorship or a partnership, which that's the same thing. It just depends on how many people you have. Or you can be classified as an S corporation, or rather taxed as an S corporation, or a C corporation. You don't do a C corporation unless you're like a real huge company, like publicly traded, lots and lots of stuff. You got shares, you got all that. Or also if you are a nonprofit. Nonprofits are taxed as C corporations. Like I said, I'm her worst nightmare. So I got out my little gal, my little Stay Spicy LLC stuff. So I wanted to go over these forms. So when you were filing for your EIN, who knew we were going to go to, Accounting 101. When you're filing for your EIN, this one has a coffee stain on it. Yay. You fill out your SS4 form. So interesting that she didn't show that. I mean, you don't have to. Obviously, she could have, though. But she didn't show that because I don't think she has that. And then also, you get your letter from the IRS that says, like, hey, you filled it out. Here's your EIN. Mine is right here. It has my old address on it. I don't live there anymore, so it's fine. But either way, let's compare these because I believe that hers is fake. It doesn't look like mine. Of course, it could be like a different version, a revision, whatever. A lot of times they will have different versions of them. They'll update them to include more information. But I don't think that hers is real, and we're going to go over why. So on hers, I compared hers to PDFfiller.com. And you can make and screenshot fake forms and things like that. And I think that that's what hers is. So we're going to compare hers, which I believe is a fake one, to mine that is a real one. Obviously, my business is in good standing, has always been, will always be, hopefully. And anyways, let's go ahead and do this. So the first one here, and we're going to go over like her EIN number and all that too, but it's just so interesting to me that like hers doesn't look anything like mine. That's weird. Why doesn't it? Very strange. So for instance, like on mine, it says when filing tax documents, blah, blah, blah. And then it says, based on the information received, you or your representative must file the following forms. And it tells you the forms that you need to fill out and the due dates for them. If you have any questions, blah, blah, we've assigned you a tax based on obtaining from your representative, blah, 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 and just like the same stuff over and over again. So then it like gives you further instruction, but hers is so short. And I think it's because it's from and edited from this, not maybe this specific website, but from this that says like, it doesn't have that specific information because it's super generalized and she didn't put that information in there, which is super interesting. So we're going to go to the IRS website and we're going to check the IRS website, the Sunbiz website, and then also, because I assume that she registered it in Florida because she lives in Florida. That is her place of residence and that's where the business would be operating out of. Even if you do that, some people will still register theirs in like Delaware, even if they don't live there, and other places like that due to just like, I don't know, tax things. We're not getting into all that. So on the IRS website, you can search for tax exempt organization search. So I searched it, the EIN that she had on there, and nothing came up. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But she said that she had filed all of that. Just because you file it doesn't mean you are going to get tax exempt status. It's not that easy to do, and it also can take a long time. So nothing came up. And I was like, okay, well, that doesn't mean it's not a business or that it didn't ever exist. So I was like, all right, well, let me check mine. So I did a search for a tax exempt organization search for mine just to see if it would come up and say like not tax exempt, right? It didn't. So I was like, okay, that doesn't mean that like it wasn't ever one. However, or that it wasn't ever a created entity, right? But then I saw this, that at the bottom of her website for feartofiercefoundation.org, whatever, it says it's a non-for-profit. That's not a thing. The correct phrasing is non-profit organization. I don't know why she did that, but it also says it's a 501c3, which means that it is approved through the IRS to have tax exempt nonprofit status, which it doesn't. That's fraud. Get her, guys. That's fraud right there to put that on there and to advertise that it is a 501c3. Yeah, there we go. I always get that mixed up. Now, the only LLCs that are registered to her or business entities in general that are registered to her and ever have been is On Brand Marketing LLC, which is inactive. Voluntary dissolution. So she dissolved it, or they just dissolved it due to inactivity. And that was in 2023. And then there was another one for Lulu's Coffee Bar, which is also inactive. So even if a business is inactive, it still shows on the Sunbiz website, which is Florida's like State Department website, whatever. So wrong. You're wrong. Does not matter. It would still show on there as inactive because it has been created as a business entity, as you said that yours has, which is false. You're a liar. You're a lying liar who lies. So that's good. Now, one thing that you could say as well is, oh, well, maybe she didn't have it registered under her name. Like maybe she wasn't the owner, manager, agent, whatever for the LLC. Or maybe that wasn't the name of it, which is very interesting because when you create a business entity, whether you go ahead and just go straight into C corporation or create it as an LLC, then filling out the correct forms to become a C corporation and applying for your tax exempt status, the name of that entity has to be very specific. Like I couldn't have it just be Chelsea Suarez LLC and have that be, that's not how that works. No, not how that works at all. So even right here at the bottom, technically I guess it would be the header, but at the bottom here of the form that she shows a picture of, it says 4/23/2024, and then it says tech. And so I was like, what's that mean? For instance, mine says 8/13/2021, and that is the date of the notice itself, not my filing date. My filing date, which I always have to look up because I always forget. Girl, I always have to look up my EIN number. Who are we kidding? I have to go in my email every time to go look it up. But my filing date was July 8th, 2021. So by the time like you receive this, it's been like a month later. Now she said that she filled all this out and created the business and, got the EIN number months and months before she had even like launched the website. Now here's a crazy timeline that internet sleuths have put together. Now the date of notice, or what it should be on hers, says 4/23/2024. And yet on April 30th, 2024 is when the Fear to Fierce website launched. So did you file all of that way prior? Because it wouldn't take you 4 months to get a letter with your EIN number on it. It takes hardly a month. One thing that's interesting, we're also talking about how if you are a nonprofit and you are approved for that status, which she goes back on multiple times, again, the name has to be specific, meaning I can't have it as Stay Spicy LLC and that be a nonprofit, but then me saying on a website that the actual name of the company is Wiggum Gone Wild LLC and that's a 501c3, when no, it has to like be the exact one, obviously for tax purposes and to remain IRS compliant, right? Of course, that doesn't even apply here because it's not and it's fake. But I was wondering, okay, well, next to that date of notice, date that you got the letter of the EIN number, it says tech right there. The first four of her last name. That's interesting. What it's actually the first four of is the name of the company, of the EIN, is what it should be. But she's an idiot and she doesn't know that. So for instance, let me make sure this doesn't have like my social security number on it. We'll show it on screen. But for instance, mine says stay. And I was like, that's interesting. Stay? Why would it say stay? Maybe because Stay Spicy LLC is the name of my business entity. Interesting. So is the name of your business Teckenbrock? So another reason why I'm thinking that she thought that that's what she should put down is because on the PDF filer thing, the person's name, let's just say for instance, it's William Thomas Cochran, and it says sole member because it is a sole member LLC in this example. And the company name is Cochran Consulting. So maybe she thought that it was supposed to be her last name. Why would it have your last name there where it's supposed to have the first four of your business entity legal name when you have at the bottom of your website that the name of the company is Fear to Fierce? Shouldn't it say fear right there? That would be hard. That'd be tough. That'd be tough. But no, it says tech. So that's interesting. But you know what? I'm sure there's an explanation for this. Let's go ahead and hand it back over to Liz and see what she's got to say.
Anyway, I'm going to show my IRS paperwork, which at the time I had screenshotted right from the website. So let me show you. Okay, my address at the top doesn't really matter because you guys have already doxed that anyway, and I don't live there. But my name, there's my nonprofit. Okay, I think it even has the tax employee ID number right there.
She's also saying, there's my nonprofit, there's my tax ID number. That doesn't say anything about your nonprofit at all. That it quite literally doesn't say anything. Like, yeah, it shows a EIN number, but is it a real one? Because it doesn't look like it. Oh, but there's my nonprofit. This doesn't say anything about a nonprofit. So even if you did file, like I could literally show you my version of a real version of what she's showing. And I could be like, oh, here's my nonprofit. No, that's not it. That's what are you doing?
Anyway, it's no longer a registered business because this was, I think like over a year, like last year, like a year, maybe like even longer than that ago, a little bit longer than a year ago, I'm not sure. But either way,
it's no longer a registered business because it was like a year ago. That sentence quite literally does not make sense. It doesn't matter if it was a year ago. If you registered it a year ago, what you mean is that it was dissolved because you didn't fill out the proper paperwork. If she was granted nonprofit status, which she wasn't, because guess why? Fear to Fierce it's not a business. The business entity was not created. And oh, it's not on there anymore. On where, girl? We've looked on Sunbiz, we've looked on Bizopedia, we've looked on the IRS website. Not there. Quite literally not there.
Actually, the date's probably on here. I think it's April. Oh yeah, April 23rd, 2024, I registered. My event wasn't going to be until like summer, August, I think. So I did all of this way before my event was going to happen. And so that it would be right the first time.
So again, as I already proved, the date on there is the date of that notice when you are issued an EIN, not when you file your business. You go off of the date that you file and the entity is created, and then when you get your EIN number.
Secondly, you do not need a nonprofit actual completed to run an event as long as you are donating the money. I had been in contact with, I should come back up here this size. I had been in contact with a nonprofit in my area to donate the funds to them, and you are allowed to hold an event for anything as long as you do that. It would never have even like went to me, it would have went to them directly.
So this is quite interesting too. So apparently from what I have heard, and this might not be correct, but the rumor is that the one that she was donating all the money to, it's just very interesting because it's like, then why wouldn't you have partnered with them and promoted that the event was going to be benefiting them, right? Instead of saying that your business was a non-for-profit, idiot, was a 501c3 when it wasn't. Rather, when you posted everything about your event, it said nothing about that other actual nonprofit. I'm pretty sure I know which one it is, and it's not the spring. It's this other one that was put on by this guy, Michael, I think his name is. He started a nonprofit like for domestic violence survivors, and it's like kind of to like honor his mom too. And he's seems like a great guy. I've met him at like multiple events, and I did talk to him, asked him for a statement. He wants nothing to do with her and like doesn't want to be connected to anything just because, you know, bad press. And I completely understand that. Sometimes that can be frustrating because it's like, I know it's embarrassing to like say you got scammed. I don't think she was successful in scamming him, but I do think that she tried to leech off of him a good bit. And I mean, her branding and like all that, even like the color purple, which like, wow, you copied a color scheme. But basically everything of the branding and all that for like the fear to fierce and shit is, in my eyes, at least in my opinion, like a direct copy and paste of this other event that like does pretty okay in our area. And I just find that very interesting. So again, why wouldn't you have it on there? Typically you do have it on there of like, this event hosted by this organization is to benefit, or all proceeds go to blah, blah, blah. Right. And then her saying like, oh, I was going to be collecting donations. It's like, okay, I wouldn't even have been able to like touch the money. If people were donating to you, that wouldn't be a write-off for them. That would not be a charitable donation. For it to be a charitable donation, it has to be to a tax-exempt nonprofit, a 501c3 IRS approved one, right? And that's not what yours is. So that's, again, what you're saying does not make any sense. I am truly this woman's worst nightmare. Like, yikes. Also, I do want to say, allegedly, her and her minions are having pages banned and taken down and videos taken down on TikTok under the false reporting and guise of copyright violations, which commentary and, you know, things like that and calling people out is not a copyright violation. Protect under fair use, all that. But they unfortunately had her ex-husband Andrew's account banned, which sucks so bad. But his entire series exposing her is on YouTube and it is on other social media platforms. So I'll have the YouTube channel for that link down below. So please go watch that, or go watch or listen rather, because the Elizabeth podcast is just audio, but please go listen to it. Please support it. Please rate and review and share it and all that. And keep in mind, even if you don't like her ex-husband, what she did to him was fucked up. And obviously, like, there is some emotional manipulation on his side too. I don't want to say it's justified because it's not, but like, I can only imagine meeting someone, being in this whirlwind, being love bombed or whatever, and super quickly like marrying this hot blonde you just met. And then from there, having 2 kids super quickly, and like being in this relationship for like 2 years. A lot of people don't realize it was a short ass marriage, like 2 to 3 years, having her steal so much money from you and manipulate you so hard, and then go through all of this as well. Like, it's crazy. It is so crazy. But more importantly, what I'm trying to say is he's not the only victim. He's not the main character here. Okay. She has scammed and conned and lied to, and just so many other people. There are so many other victims, emotional manipulation, mental, financial. So please keep that in mind.
So to wrap that up and clear that up, that is complete, utter that I did not do that right. Okay. I will not attest to the fact I have done terrible things in my life. I have never said that I have not. I have done awful things in my life.
Talk about them. Literally talk about what you've done. Again, like I said, you cannot come on a platform and be like, I've changed, I'm righting my wrongs. Where? Literally where? No, you have not. I've done horrible things. Okay, babe, talk about it. Put it on a stagnant post. Let's break it down. Have some accountability. Let's go. That is accountability. When people are like, you faked cancer, then saying, oh no, it wasn't faked, it was exaggerated. You said that you had stage 4 lymphoma and that you had months to live. One of your best friends at the time moved up her wedding because you said you wanted to be there so bad and you told her you had less than 6 months to live. Is that exaggerating? But the way she phrases it makes it sound like the internet exaggerated it. Like, oh, I did have cancer. Well, girl, I had melanoma. I got that shit cut out and scooped out and sewed right on back up. Okay? Looks like I got little teddy bear stitches on my back. It was, oh, girl, I was not expecting it to be that big. It was like a lot big. It was crazy. But am I going around saying that I'm like a cancer survivor? Like, whenever I talk about how basically everyone in my family's had cancer, I always say like, oh, except me. And I always make a joke how like all my issues are mental, right? And then I'm like, oh wait, no, I guess I have had like a little dash of cancer. But like, cut open, scooped out, we good. It buffed out, all right? SPF 100. You faked terminal cancer, babe. Crazy. It's also just crazy to act like there are no receipts and that these aren't things that can be tracked when they can be and have been. It might be, and y'all can leave in the comments below too. A lot of people have been like, I haven't heard people call her like a sociopath or a psychopath. I don't think it's psychopath. I think it would be sociopath. Therapists, doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, please leave in the comments below. Obviously, don't like diagnose her, but those characteristics is what I'm asking for. Like, what would that, like the ego, I like to just say it's like egotistical, right? The ego of like, I'm the smartest person in the room, you're wrong, when I'm like, so are you calling the IRS a liar? Girl, sunbiz.org, it ain't lying. What are you talking about? Another example of this is like, for instance, I bet if I called her out right now for attempting to scam the photographer who did the photo shoot for her podcast, who did that session for her, I bet you she would say, no, I didn't. I didn't try to do that. Elizabeth, I literally have your American Express statements. Yeah, I have a ton of them. Girl, disputed bank charges. I have all that paperwork. And do you want to know why? It's because one of my very good family friends is the landlord that you and McKay, your bestie, he evicted y'all, and y'all owe him like $14,000. Oh, and she's getting served. Unfortunately, your name wasn't on the lease, so he can't technically serve you, I don't think. But it was a fully furnished rental, and there's so much like in there that's just destroyed now. And unfortunately, he's just going to have to like eat that loss, I think. But I don't know. I can't imagine that they're going to pay him back. But yeah, look, Vanessa Milford, you attempted to do a dispute of $300 to Vanessa Milford, which the transaction date was spooky, September 11th, 2024. And what's the date on this one though? And this is February 6th, 2025. It's like, girl, 6 months later, what the f are you doing? Why are you trying to dispute 6 months later? Oh, it's because you need to free up some of that credit line. So you're just disputing all these charges, trying to get some money back because your scams are catching up to you and people aren't giving you money anymore and you got no money. But you know, you could do, girl, get a job. Crazy. But thankfully, American Express was like, no, girl, we're not going to do that. Watch, Elizabeth is probably going to be someone that comes on the internet in a minute and be like, I never did that. It's illegal for you to have that. Actually, it's not at all, because you put all of this in the garbage and you abandoned so much that house. And per Florida law, landlords only have to keep your stuff for, I believe, 10 days, I'm pretty sure, from the date of like formal of like eviction. And also, guess what? Like legally, you weren't even on that lease and you weren't even supposed to be living there. So I just found all this garbage. I don't know what you're talking about. Again, I cannot reiterate enough. I am this woman's worst nightmare. I will happily be her sleep paralysis demon so that she is unable to scam more people. I got a lot of receipts here. Isn't it interesting, though, that in my video, I didn't only call that out. I also called out scamming men, literally scamming the elderly, and then also the OnlyFans thing. And just, that's not the only thing I talked about. But yet she comes on here with fake documents, and then she deleted this. Well, first of all, she blocked me, but then deleted this like almost right away. But the internet's forever, girl.
I try every day to do the right thing, but that was not it. Okay, I did file. I filed months before my event was ever going to be held. So, also, just so you know, and give like an example, I had been in contact to book the space, even the date. I did not even list my tickets all the way for sale. They were going up for sale, going up for sale. The website was listed. The one individual that purchased a ticket to this event, one individual that did do so, is a person that runs multiple accounts about me and came directly from the other party. So that is why the one ticket was purchased, to prove a point that I was doing the wrong thing. One ticket was purchased and she got a refund.
Okay, so this is interesting too, because she says multiple things that I think are wrong here. So she says that one person who I think she's talking about, Ro, and we'll watch hers as well because I'm pretty sure she made another video about it, but she said that she came from the other party, which the other party is Elizabeth's ex-husband, Andrew. But Ro didn't even know the ex-husband. She didn't even know him at that point. And Andrew was nice enough to give her that money. And she says that she bought a ticket. Ro didn't buy a ticket. She donated, because that was an option too. You could donate. She donated $10 or like a small amount. And then after Elizabeth like shut down everything or whatever, took all the money and ran, then she put reoccurring charge in there and allegedly, and the Ro was charged. So she never even bought a ticket. And she's not the only one who bought a ticket. I'm positive there are more that donated or gave money into this. So you're saying that the tickets weren't even for sale. It wasn't an active event. You were promoting it. The tickets weren't even all the way up for sale. Then how did she buy one? That doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about? What's going on here, buddy? That doesn't make sense.
So I just wanted to share that really quickly, and that is all.
I just wanted to share that really quickly and then delete it right away because people called me out on more of my bull. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that Ro did do an updated video about all this because she's been pretty good at calling out Elizabeth as well. But then when she does have like flare-ups and stuff of like her multiple different illnesses that she has been diagnosed with, she like kind of takes a step back from it, which is good because, you know, you don't want her to like not be okay.
Is a person that runs multiple accounts about me and came directly from the other party.
That was about me, if you want to know. My video is a response to that. She reported the video of my actual response showing how she lied to manipulate you all. If you're interested in seeing my actual response, which I know you guys aren't because you just like to come here and yell at me and then leave, I did link it in my bio on the Red app. She's saying she's healing and she's taking accountability, but she is still, as of 2 days ago, forging documents to further a lie. And then utilize her following, you guys, the ones coming in my comments and attacking me, to utilize you guys to attack the people who are speaking up against her. I am sorry that you have been manipulated by this person, but you have been manipulated by this person. And now you are blindly attacking her victims that she continues to harass and quiet because that's what she wants. She wants us to shut up so that she can continue doing the stuff that she's doing, aka forging documents.
And I do want to make it clear that forging IRS documents is a federal crime. It's also illegal in Florida too. I mean, obviously Florida is part of the US, but sometimes don't feel like it. And listen, I might live in a lawless swamp down here, but there do be laws, and forgery is a 3rd-degree felony. So while she might not be trying to pass off these documents as real to like a regulatory organization or anything like that, she is trying to pass it off to like the public, and that is still forgery. I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty positive I'm not.
Well, if you're wondering where the video response that I made to Elizabeth Teckenbrock's video regarding her nonprofit status and the lies that she told in that video in order to send her followers to attack me, that video has been taken down for bullying and harassment. This is exactly the kind of things that she does.
So before she comes on here and says like, oh, well, you submitted your information like later or whatever, or it was a different version of something, she's wrong. The information and the paperwork that she showed is 1,000,000,000% fake. Another reason why is because it's going to show the LLC, the business, first. And also it would say Fear to Fierce LLC if she created an LLC. It wouldn't just say Fear to Fierce. It also wouldn't say her first and last name on the top line. It would say the company name on the top line. It also, next to her name, which should be on the second line, it would say sole member partnership, something like that, right? And it doesn't. And as I said, just to reiterate, since we're at the end of the video here, and because I probably want to make this a short form video too and put it on TikTok, or I might just do that myself in a second. But before you try for tax exempt status through the IRS, you have to create your business entity through your state, which would be Florida in this case, right? Even if the business entity itself is inactive and doesn't exist anymore, it would still be on the SunBiz website, which is our state's website. It would still be on there. I have multiple LLCs that are inactive that I have dissolved, or even just one I forgot about, that say they're inactive because they are inactive. So even if she dissolved it herself, even if it was an involuntary dissolvement, even if she never dissolved it, which if you don't fill out the paperwork and just like abandon it, then okay, it gets dissolved by the IRS, but it just defaults to that. But still, it would be on the SunBiz website, and it's not. This isn't a real company. This is fake. She is forging IRS documents. Also, like I said before, after searching the SunBiz website, if someone's claiming that they are a nonprofit, you can search the EIN of that business on the IRS website as we showed, and nothing popped up. Even if you fill out the paperwork for it and they have received it, there's a possibility that it would say that it was received. Even if it was a nonprofit at some point or another, then it would say that, but it doesn't. No results show up. At this point, I don't know how the people who are supporting her, if they're just delusional or idiots or whatever, they must have collectively 3 brain cells to rub together. But it's truly wild. And 2 things can be true at once. You may not like her ex-husband. That's fine. I don't care. Go for it. Don't like him. But willingly just choosing to just ignore all of these facts is insane. That is insanity. This is charity fraud. That's a federal crime. This woman is a criminal. I will be posting something like this on TikTok as well, but obviously YouTube is where I have my largest reach and where mostly all of you are anyways. And of course, I don't want to shut up about this and I want to keep posting about it. And of course, on TikTok, it's easier to get things, content, videos, whatever, pages taken down by submitting false reports. And on YouTube, thankfully, it doesn't really happen to me. People can try, but it doesn't really work out. Apparently, some of her little minions have said that they're trying to do that. And it's like, did you just admit to violating terms of service and doing that? Cute. But TikTok's the Wild West, man. They don't care. They'll take down anything for no reason and say it's bullying when it's like, that's just literally posting facts and listing out someone's behavior. But okay, got it. So anyways, I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, weekend, whenever you're watching this. I hope you enjoyed all the receipts and that they weren't forged, unlike Elizabeth Teckenbrock's entire digital footprint, almost, basically, in my opinion. I hope you have a great day. I hope that you are subscribed. If you're not, I hope you have the day you deserve, which will probably be a horrible one. And I hope that Elizabeth Nicole Teckenbrock kicks rocks with open-toed shoes and gets a bunch of hemorrhoids. External ones, not the internal ones, babe. Anyways, stay spicy, stay assertive. Don't let heads silence you, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.